Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Trailer Tailors. Excellent name, Matt. I'm Corey Seifert. This is...
I'm Matt Plotecker.
And together we fight crime. Actually, we make trailers for Dark Arts Syndicate, a new startup game publisher. We run the Trailer in a Box program with our colleague, John Gartner, who does not like doing things like podcasts, but he's awesome. So the format for this is we're going to go through a remix most weeks of taking an existing trailer, tailoring it up in a completely different genre. Obviously, we're just getting started, so that one's going to come next week. More information about that at the end. We're going to check out a exceptional trailer each episode. Matt, what do we have on deck for today?
Today, we have the classic family-oriented Helldivers 2.
2 years old. How's it classic? It is classic, you're right, which is ridiculous. So we're going to take Helldivers 2. We're going to do a trailer cut-up where Matt is going to slice it up into some of the more meaningful beats, just so you can see it on the timeline and kind of get a sense of really what's going on under the hood. And then we're going to do a little bit of a trailer tailor, if you will, in our Miro board. Talk about why things work, what we can take away from it as folks who create trailers and cinematics. And then we will go into a little bit of our remix, select our game for next episode, and that'll be our show for today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this thing.
All right.
The Federation of Super Earth, keeping managed democracy safe with the lives of our heroes, protecting freedom from tyranny with the gentle touch of an iron fist. But liberty's enemies march ever closer. Together, we must take back control of freedom.
Together for managed democracy.
Together for victory.
Together for liberty.
Together for liberty.
Together, they fight for freedom. Will you?
So good.
Enlist in the galaxy's elite fighting force. Work together to protect your future. Dispense peace with the ultimate weaponry. Become a legend. Join the Helldivers, the galaxy's last line of offense. Pre-order now.
So damn good. If the editors who worked on this ever hear this, like just thank you for bringing us this incredible piece of commercial art. It is just about perfection. Like, where do we even start? There's so many pieces there. Like,
Well, all right, hang on. Let's bring over to the breakdown here.
amazing. So let's go to our initial reactions, because I think there's a lot here. I'll kick it off. Let's see, I got a blue shirt on, so I'm gonna do a little blue sticky note here. All right, Corey's top 3. I mean, I'm a big Helldivers fan. I played Helldivers 1, the top-down game, for quite a while, so I'm definitely the target audience for this. But I loved the fact that it's satirical, but really cool. It has a really cool power fantasy, right? Like that combination of like fun and power fantasy of like, this is like a really cool game. You have really cool guns. There's really cool explosions, but it's also totally ridiculous and over the top. I think it's a rare blend. And I think that's what like speaks to a lot of people. I think the other thing about the trailer itself is the writing is so perfect. I mean, I have written for video games, and hitting that perfect combination of like unironic, hey, this is awesome, ironic, this is ridiculous, and those like little one-liners of like last line of offense, right? I mean, it's just such great writing itself. And the pacing I thought was fantastic because you get really quick story, context, tone, and a little bit of action right up front within the first 3 seconds, which, you know, we'll talk about that like broken records. That is like super, super important. And then it goes through all the classic beats of A roll, B roll, messaging, call to action. So I would just say like pacing. Those are my top three for the trailer. And Matt, I apologize if I stole all of your answers, but next time I'll let you go first.
You can agree with more than one thing. So let me bring up the sticky note. I'll go with just the green. That's probably my sticky note the whole time. So I'm not good with the thing, so I won't do that. But I'll do the Matt top three. I think the first one for me was, again, is like the satire aspect of it, because they managed to hit it perfectly. I mean, I remember when this first came out, everybody was talking about how it was basically the movie Starship Troopers brought to a video game.
Yes.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
And it really matches that same sort of thing of satirical, where they're trying to be tough and strong, but every now and then they're getting killed by bugs or an explosion's going off near them. So like it's that juxtaposition between the seriousness of propaganda versus, you know, the reality of the chaos on the ground. So like that's the first one I think is good. The second one, this kind of ties in with like the fun, but for me the thing of the fun is that it's a fun game. It looks like a fun game to play. There's other games, and fun as in like you can play like, for example, Gears of War and have fun with it, but you're not playing Gears of War with sort of like this lighthearted satirical bent to it. You're playing it as like this gritty, dark, you know, depressing kind of thing where everybody is like miserable all the time. This one instead, you're actually going ahead. It's like, oh, it's going to be a blast. I'm going to go out there. We're going to blow each other up. It's going to be like, or blow up some bugs or some robots. Who the hell knows? But it's just going to be a blast. We're going to, no pun intended, we're going to be having so much good times with that.
All of these today. A+ content, inspiration for you.
The third one, because before I forget it, is just in terms of, they really do a nice job of, they show the gameplay for it, but a lot of it is actually built as like an actual propaganda reel. You know, so the whole framing device for it works as like, this game is launching, you're being recruited. Come along, join us and help defend the galaxy. You know, so I think that's just sort of like an excellent job of like sort of like getting into the tone and the feel. You know exactly what you're getting into when you go into this game.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's my three things.
I love it. Yeah, I was gonna say on that second one for fun, it like there's quite a bit of self-expression in the game, right? You can be like, oh, I like big explosions. I like turrets. I like a drone because I always want a friend, right? And you can sort of feel that because everyone's doing such different like gameplay styles. Yeah, pretty fantastic. Why don't we jump in and do a cut up of this thing?
Yeah, this will be a quick little cut up here. So here we are. We're currently in DaVinci Resolve, where you've used Premiere Pro as well. But basically, this is the actual timeline. We want to break it up and kind of like see how they structured it. How did they structure the actual trailer itself? So obviously, you've got the beginning, and they start with the sunrise here, and it goes through about, how long is this here? So it's about that's about 10 seconds. Hang on a second here.
5 seconds of logos, right? And this is, by the way, exactly what Matt and I do when we start working on a new trailer. We actually bring in a bunch of comps, slice them up, and we sort of say, well, how long does this genre usually do this? And what are the industry standards? And then we play with that, right? We might change it quite a bit.
If you go to like 20 seconds in, I'm going to cut right here really quick. That's where like we actually see some like, it's machinima, but some in-game footage. Everything else is like cinematics that's been rendered out separately. Then we go into some actual footage with things blowing up behind them and them getting killed, but we see some of that. Then we're going back to the propaganda section. So that's about 10 seconds. So 10 seconds of gameplay footage. In fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and actually move this one up so we can actually really see how this breaks up. And then there they are going there. And at this spot right
Matt,
here.
I have one note for you. I have one note for you at 27. at least on the video I'm looking at, from about 27 to 33, there's a really nice quantized 4-shot. It's like a 3-shot, but then the last one doesn't work, so they do one more, which is in and of itself a brilliant commentary. But I want to call that one out. It's just like really, really tight.
Yeah. And then if you notice, it's not until what is it here? About 40 seconds in that we actually get the logo for the game company, Arrowhead.
Oh, that is a good point. Maybe it's worth calling out. Like we have PlayStation logos at the beginning, and then we have the secondary logos, or I guess the Dev Studio logos. Yeah, around 40.
Yeah, so that just happens there, and then we have shots of the what do you call them? The pods coming in, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm. Drop pods.
Yeah, and then again, that's all cinematic. Let me go back to the cutting here, and then at 46. That's when we start some actual gameplay footage again. And that goes on even when we get to was it 53 and the Galaxy's Elite comes in there, that's still over like basically kind of like gameplay footage.
Yep. Yeah, I would do it. Yeah, I would say 53 is an important bit for us to talk about because that's when the in-game affordant text starts showing up.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mark that. I'll move that up here. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to jump back really quick because I forgot to mention this. I want to mention it before I forget. Going back to where is it? Here on 24, section 24, when it says take back control. That is a straight up reference to the famous meme of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers in Predator.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to call that out. Back to the thing here. So we're back at 57 or 53 seconds, and then there's more of the fighting going on, more of the games, and this is a good spot right here at basically 1 minute in, 1 minute and 1 second. There's an important point here, which is that when they say like working together, that's a big thing because in Helldivers, there's a lot of those weapons where you need you need a person to help out with you.
And it's the thing that sets the whole community, right? You're all working together against impossible odds of robots and bugs and horrifying zombies. And if you don't work together, you just die super fast. It's not Call of Duty.
Exactly.
I love Call of Duty, but it's not that.
And then we have more of the attacks here. There's, and on this one right here, let's see. This is at 107. That's something else that's part of the game, is the fact that you can do those emotes with your friends. You can go ahead and do the
two-person emotes.
Yeah. You can go ahead and actually do the fist bumps and all that fun stuff. So I'm just gonna
that's another
call that out.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's another measure of self-expression that's great, where it's just like you can be serious, you can be super goofy, you can be kind of a little standoffish, you can be super, comrade with your friends, and that in shooters sometimes it's hard to get that without having 18,000 ridiculous skins that don't fit in the same IP, whereas this one has 4 or 5 IPs that mesh pretty tightly.
Yeah. Now at 1 second, at 1 minute and 16 seconds, that's when we hit the spot when we get the big reveal of the call down weaponry. Like before all of this, we've been seeing them using handheld weaponry. They've been using the guns, they've been using the bazookas, the rocket launchers. This is the first one where you have the gun emplacement that drops in place. And, the ultimate weaponry. So that's like a big call out again. Part of the game is like you're calling down these more and more powerful weapons to take on the creatures.
It's a great point. And at 1 minute in, this is a long ass trailer, right? You kind of need another tease to keep people watching. And you're like, oh, did they just drop in a gun? What is that? Right? Yeah, it definitely pulls you in.
Yeah, because that's a good point. This trailer is about 2 minutes long, which is on the long side. But at the same time, that's why they broke it up. They have all this time then to use for those beautiful cinematics in the beginning. They set the tone, they set the satire, and then they can go in and they can really start to show the actual mechanics of the game, the dual emotes, the weapon call downs, that kind of stuff. So after weapon call down, we go into a lot more battles, fighting, and then we have the great section here at 1 minute and 32 seconds, where you have the spot where the explosion happens and the character basically looks like they black out, at which point the music goes a little quiet, and then what happens, but you get stand back up, and then you have the announcer talking again about, being humanity's best.
I think it's also worth calling out at where are we? 140-ish. They start doing a couple in-engine cinematic camera moves, which are like, you got to be careful with it because they're pretty great and they give you a great binocular effect. So you got to deploy them judiciously, and it's the perfect spot right here.
Yeah. And then the last bit that we'll call out here is at 152. That's where you have like a nice collection here. You go from the explosion, you get the big bug, blows up, and then in the background, you got the explosion still happening, and you have your big friendly combat hug. But yeah, so that is the breakdown in terms of how they kind of like structured the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and actually zoom out a little bit here.
All right. Thanks for chopping that up, and let's got to get a little hug explosion in there. So let's take a look at how this thing is constructed. I think, we talked a little bit about the length here, and especially with a 2-minute trailer in the age of, anything over 10 seconds on short form video often gets ignored. Having a 2-minute trailer is a bit of a beast. So I think the most important thing would be to call out where those sort of teaser moments are that keep you really invested. I think, let me grab my little color here. I think the big one obviously is right at the beginning with sort of that like opening sequence. We called out the call down weapons, I believe was...
That's this one over here.
Thank you. Right? Oh, there we go. And then the last one I think was that like rapid fire, like big explosions in the blackout, which was... is that right here?
No, the big explosion of the blackout is that's it right there. Sorry, you got it. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's maybe the first thing to think about when you're pacing these out. And the thing that this trailer does brilliantly is just it keeps you sucked in and keeps you like, okay, cool, I see what this thing is about. And then all of a sudden, huge charging alien. All of a sudden, oh, I'm calling in weapons. Oh, I'm hugging in front of an explosion. These are all things that keep me interested. And I think this one does that at a rare level. So when you're working on your own trailer, and this is obviously something you and I talk about a ton, is how long are we expecting people to hold their attention on this? And for a 2-minute trailer in this year of 2026, those teasers are huge. I think also it's worth thinking about. They had all these logos that were kind of mandatory, right? If you're publishing with Sony or any other platform, you got to put their logos up front. That's a requirement, and that's a couple seconds of pretty high value real estate, right? That's kind of like in this region right here. And so the thing they could have done, which probably would have been a bad idea, is put more logos in here. And by that time, every second you're spending up front on stuff that's not those teaser moments. Is another X% of your audience that's dropping off, and they pushed those logos to Matt. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was over here. Maybe it was
the first time that we actually see the logo, the arrowhead logo. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. That's like right here.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. There you go. I'll leave yours there. So. I think that's, a very minor but very impactful way to sort of spend your attention budget, that, pulling as much as you can out of the front of the video and getting the player into this sort of meat. Super critical, super brilliant, well done. And it also kind of gives you like a breath of fresh air in the middle. And if I recall correctly, you can even see on the waveform here, they shifted from sort of like a more cinematic, almost, propaganda-ish music style into, I believe it was sort of like a rock song that was also integrated with the main theme. And it kind of gave it that like, Vietnam War era thing that people like to do. But what was unique about it, it's done almost to the point of cliche. But what they did, I thought that was great, was they wove in the cinematic music from the beginning of the trailer. And if you listen closely at the end, you've got both the rock themes and the cinematic themes going at the same time. And it gives it a nice subtle backing. And obviously the whole trailer is really nicely timed to the music in a subtle way. It's not just quantized. It's not just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. there are times when it is, but it flows back and forth between short clips, long clips, and you can see in this sort of shape that we have right here, it's pretty variable, right? Some sections are a few seconds, and then you're off to the next thing. Some are, like this big old chunk of B-roll right here, right, and right here. I don't know what shape I'm making, but that's apparently B-roll.
Like a tilde.
B-roll here. I love Miro.
We be rolling.
Yeah, and actually, I think it's over here too.
Yeah,
I wish I had a better Madden impression.
yeah. No, there's
Boom.
there's it starts off with a slow cinematic build. It kind of like brings you into in terms of they're setting the tone. They're letting you know what kind of a game this is going to be. With that type of tone. Okay, so it's satirical. It's going to be militaristic, propagandist. But we're not, very much tongue in cheek, like Airplane kind of like approach to it. Then we're going to show you like actual aspects of the gameplay in terms of like, okay, so here's the guns you're going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting with your friends. You're going to be working with your friends on certain different types of weapons. You're going to go ahead and actually be just like shooting down like these giant bugs or these blowing up these robots. There's going to be explosions. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. Now, something else too to keep in mind, like now in this case, both Corey and I have played Helldivers 2 and we played it together. There are aspects that they've left out. Like, for example, they leave out the times when you have to run from one section to another for a while. And you're spending like around, 30 seconds, 45 seconds just running from point A to point B, which is not a bad thing. A lot of times what happens is that you're usually talking with your friends at that point. If you're,
It's kind of the best part, right? It's like, hey man, how was your weekend? Right? What's up? What's going on with the job, right? Like, and you're like running past this beautiful scenery, but not great for a trailer.
Yeah, well, exactly. So like that's you always want to show like the parts that are intense. Like one of the last parts of the missions, of course, is when you're waiting for extraction and all the creatures are running at you and you have to like fight them all off like these wave after wave and just try to last long enough. And we've had times where like one person got away, no one got away, but we still got the mission objectives done. So there's more to the game that they haven't even gone into. Like they don't go into the mission objectives. They don't go into the fact that like you can still actually win even if everyone dies. So because like you're just cannon fodder, you're grist for the mill. So.
It's a great point, and that's like maybe a key takeaway is like telling the story of a game in a trailer is not telling the game's story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different art forms, both extremely difficult, both done extremely well throughout the Helldivers franchise. But yeah, like sometimes if you're writing the script for it, like you're gonna have to leave out some of the best features in a game just because it's a different story, it's a different art form.
And also the fact that it's sort of like it's very clear from the trailer, you're not playing The Last of Us. You're not playing even Gears of War, which has like a long narrative arc. That's not what this game is about. That's not what you're signing up for in more ways than one with this.
It's a really good point. I have a slightly different point. In terms of pacing, I think there's a very interesting thing they do where right at the beginning, it's like if this is our sort of like chart of pacing, it starts super slow, right? Almost to this first teaser, right? It's just those slow motion, like, right? The rifle firing in slow motion, all this kind of stuff. And then it goes up to what I would call sort of a neutral pace. I would say almost straight through to the end. And then as it hits those last beats where it's like bang, 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 right? With the time, it goes way, way up, right? It goes into this like much faster cadence. And I want to take a quick gander at this and make sure I'm not full of baloney. But at the end, I believe after going max speed right straight through to the end and the hug explosion, which is, of course, the best part of the game is hugging it out in front of an explosion. And then it goes to a logo presentation, which I would consider fairly neutral. So if we're charting it out, there's two interesting things here. One, I think there's a pretty classic pacing structure, right? You kind of start slow, ramp up, and then bring it down at the end. It's a risky pacing structure because most trailers, you want to be really fast up front to capture attention. Mm-hmm. I think we've talked about a few things they do along the way to keep people's attention. But what's kind of fun is it actually mirrors a 3-act structure fairly well, right? It kind of starts off, maybe a little bit like here's how things are. Things get intense. Maybe in the middle, it's like, oh, everybody's dying all the time. And then at the end, here's a rapid fire roll of explosions and adrenaline and dopamine. And then we end on our denouement, if you will. And it, sort of a fractal, pattern that we see where, trailers, often good trailers, will mirror that 3-act structure that human beings crave. And I think this one's no exception.
All right. So that's our review of the Helldivers 2. I mean, like, this came out a while ago too, so like everyone had a chance to like hopefully play it. But a lot of fun. I remember like getting a chance to see it. I was like, okay, this is the game I could definitely like get into and actually enjoy. Let's jump into the actual picking of things.
All right, so now we get to the really dicey part of our program, where we're gonna take.
No pun intended with dicey, because both Corey and I play a lot of tabletop role playing games. But sorry.
Right. There had to be one D&D joke in this segment. So we're gonna get a little dicey here. We're gonna take a classic masterpiece game trailer and then remix it with a likely completely unrelated genre. Now, we have a bit of a chicken and egg here, so we went and posted on LinkedIn, and a couple of our friends had some pretty great suggestions. So I'm going to select a mix of game and genre for Matt, and then he's going to pick the same for me. We should probably agree on the same game, or we'll be chasing laser pointers. But
before that, as a quick note to the people that are watching, all 5 of them, is that there is going to be 1 hour. We each have only 1 hour to do this. So like what's going to happen is we're going to get our marching instructions later this week. We're going to go ahead and actually spend 1 hour, and that includes everything. That's sourcing footage, watching the trailer, watching any sort of like resources or like references of what the game trailer should look like, and then editing it together. That's all you get, 1 hour.
It's going to go super smooth. There's going to be no disasters, no meltdowns, no crying. It's going to be great.
No beeps.
All right. No beeps. Actually, okay, if you already know which one you want, so why don't you go ahead and set the table? I there's too many good options.
Oh yeah, I'm going with, there's a lot of good options, but this one here, I would love to see you do this one. It's from Mark Barnes. The Animal Crossing stealth espionage action.
That was the one I was circling towards for you, but you picked it. That's fair. I love it. That's a good one.
I was giving you the chance to go first, but that's gonna be it. I want to see what you do with Animal Crossing as a stealth espionage action game. So like Metal Gear Solid, something like that.
I'm here for it. I love it. That is a good one.
Metal Gear Crossing.
I think
that could be a game. Metal Gear Solid Animal Crossing, because they have Metal Gear Solid, the Phantom Pain, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like that.
I love it. I'm gonna go with the most awesome concept on here, remixing Silent Hill into a cozy slice of life. And I'm gonna try to get the pronunciation right. That's from Amarachi Ayanacho.
Ooh, Silent Hill F. Okay. Yep. This will be good. I'm looking forward to this one, because I went ahead and I played Silent Hill 2, one of my favorite games of all time. So I know the franchise well. I haven't played Silent Hill F, so this is going to be something else that's interest. I'm going to have to spend some time like on Silent Hill F and turn it into a cozy slice of life game like The Sims or something. So
it's going to go so well.
All right.
What have we committed to?
I'm looking forward to it. This is blast. So next week when we start, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by showing each other our own stuff.
And the internet will judge us forever. You can follow us on social media under Dark Arts Syndicate. Or if you go to the Dark Arts website under the Trailer in a Box section, you'll see these podcasts, some of our work. Definitely feel free to reach out, comment on these videos, suggest some more horrifying combinations of classic game trailers and genres that are not about those game trailers. And we will see you at the next episode. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Corey.